Welcome to another tech video. Today we're going to be having a look at an HP laptop that is really suffering from slow performance is an understatement. It takes 10 minutes to start up. Once it's running, takes absolutely forever to launch an application. Typing takes forever, so we're going to be fixing that today. So here's the problem that we've got. We can see that there's not sufficient memory in here. However, we're not going to be upgrading that today. But if you look at the disk, so the disk drive here is at 100%. This is not our laptop, by the way, so don't shout at me for having an awful mouse cursor. But as you can see here, the drive is at 100% and it's basically unusable. So the system takes a good 10 minutes before it's usable. There are a few other bits and pieces that are wrong with this, like McAfee antivirus is out of date, so we're going to be sorting all of this out for our clients. And the fix for this will be to clone the hard disk onto an SSD drive and then fit the SSD drive into this laptop. So how do we go about this? Okay, so it's a fairly simple process. What we've got here is our new SSD drive that's attached via a USB to SATA cable, and this gives us the ability to boot off a USB drive here that we've got Macrium Reflect on. So we're going to boot up off that. That then gives us the ability to clone the hard drive that's in here onto this, and then once that's done, we then take the machine apart and we add the SSD drive in and swap that out and do a fresh boot and a clean boot. So once the clone has finished, I'm not going to walk through the clone because we've done that lots of times previously. Once this is finished, then we'll come back and swap out the drive. Okay, so the drive's now cloned. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to get the back off, get the hard disk out and get our SSD drive in there. So we've got 3 screws around the middle here and we've got one at the front. There'll be a couple under here and here as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove these strips, and you want to be careful when removing these so that they don't snap. You'll probably need a little couple of dots of glue to seal them back down, because the 3M tape that's sealing them unfortunately comes off. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get as much of this off as we can with the tape. Like that. Put that to one side, and then we're going to do the front one as well. Okay, that one's a bit easier. As you can see, we've got another 6 screws under there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove all of these. Okay, there we go. So now that's all the screws removed. Now you want to get yourself a selection of prizer tools. And this is the trickiest bit, is to get in the case itself. So the best way that we found that to do this is to go in through a corner first of all. Run the prizer tool once you're in under the edge, all the way down the side, around the front so the clips will release. The trickiest one is the back corner. If you can get round the corner itself. There we go, to prise that up. Okay, now turn it over, and in theory we should be able to get this lifted away from the device. There we go. And then that will just lift off. Okay, so let's have a look at the condition of the device itself. So this one is it's only got one stick of memory in there, and that's only 4 gig, but we're not going to be changing that today. So all we're going to be doing is changing the hard drive, getting a new drive put in. And to remove this, there's 2 screws here, which you remove. And that then bracket then lifts off. Like that. And then the hard drive slides forward out of the adapter there, and that's removed. And then we take our new drive, that slots in, pushes up forward, and then it's the reverse process where our bracket goes in, and that's our SSD drive installed. So the next thing we want to do before we put the cover back on is we're just going to open it up and make sure that it starts. Okay, so powering on. Got an HP logo, it's always a good sign. We've got a loading icon. Fantastic. Okay, so that means the hard disk is okay. So we're going to let that run, and then we're going to let it boot into Windows. And as soon as that's done, we're going to close it down. Then we're going to get the back cover on. So the next thing we want to do, get the cover back on. And this is just the reverse of how we took it off. That will just rest over the top. We're going to open it up before, just to get the clips in. Once all the clips are snapped in, then it's just a matter of getting all the screws back in. And then once you've got all the screws back in, it's just a matter of putting the strips back on. So it's the higher strip at the back, the lower strip at the front. And then connect your power. Okay, and there we have it. Then we're into Windows now. Let's now go and see how responsive this is. So before, disk was at 100%. And now you can see clearly that actually the CPU is much higher because the disk usage is dropped right down. And that will continue to fall once all the applications start up. Let's get that switched off. And there we go. And that was what the problem was. Obviously, the system was completely unresponsive because the disk utilization was at 100% all the time. So now we can close that down and do the update. First of all, let's just check the antivirus situation. So it looks like the McAfee has expired. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go in and remove the antivirus. At least then Windows Defender will be able to do its job properly. So if you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.